having no plan. A frail-looking Juja Member of Parliament George Koimburi, accused of self-abduction, presented in court, released on a 300,000 Kenyan shillings cash bail. Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah castigated by opposition leaders over his remarks about Pastor Dorcas Rigathi, spouse to former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Welcome to the broadcast. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Laura Omondi. My name is Cynthia Nanjala. President William Ruto has pushed back against mounting calls for his resignation through growing Ruto must go chants in street protests and social media posts. In an address at the Nairobi Security Exchange on Wednesday, Ruto questioned the motivations behind the calls for his early departure, saying all Kenyan leaders have eventually exited office. The past 2 years have seen deadly youth-led protests against Ruto's administration over the high cost of living, taxation, unemployment, government corruption, and his contested policy reforms.
My time will come and I will go. Just like those who were there before me did. But respectfully, sirs, madams, let me ask you. So, what are your reasons for this Ruto must go? I'm sure it's not because of the spelling of his name. Maybe because you don't agree with the ideas, the policies, and the plan he has for our nation, which is okay. But please, would you kindly favor us with your counter plan? Hey, we cannot replace a plan you don't like with nothing. And I hear my brothers and sisters say, let Ruto go, then we will figure out. And we will tell you what is the alternative plan later. We cannot tell you now. To me, that sounds like the wash conmanship. If you seriously have a plan that does better on the economy than I have, that does better on health than I have, that does better on creating jobs than I have, that does better on education than I have, you should be bold enough to tell us. One term, Kasongo, Ruto must go, is not enough. Nobody is going to corner us. Sorry, guys. You have to come up with a better plan. Slongaliering is not enough.
Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has launched a scathing attack on the Law Society of Kenya and its president, Faith Odhiambo, accusing them of siding with criminals and seeking bail for individuals charged with terrorism. Murkomen, who spoke amid mounting criticism over the government's decision to charge violent protesters with terrorism, said the LSK was on the wrong side of history by focusing on defending suspects instead of standing with business owners and citizens who suffered losses during their unrest.
I've seen my Law Society of Kenya leadership, and as a member, I totally disagree with those who want to make it lighter. They want to make it look cheap when we say that people who are banning courts, banning police stations, banning businesses with petrol bombs, stealing guns, banning houses for police officers, banning vehicles for county government and for individuals, banning supermarkets, looting people's businesses. all those people are properly defined in the Prevention of Terrorism Act of the Republic of Kenya. They are defined to be terrorists because they have committed acts of terror. And if we find them attempt to do so, even in this city, we are going to charge them for what it is. Because there is no point for the Law Society of Kenya to spend a lot of energy to try to reduce the bail terms for suspected criminals who have properly been arrested and located in the scene. You know, burning properties and burning police station and burning courts. Those are terrorists that must have their day in court, and they must not get the assistance of any civilized person, let alone the Law Society of Kenya. I want to ask the courts not to be intimidated and to be partners with the National Police Service, to be partners with the security sector in trying to forestall a crisis in the country. I want any lawyer to look at me on the face and define for me that a person who has used a petrol bomb to burn a court or burn a police station or burn administrative offices or burn a supermarket or burn anybody's property or burn government vehicles, and tell me another definition that is far much better than the one we have given under the law of Porter, that is Prevention of Terrorism Act.
Juja Member of Parliament George Koimburi has pleaded not guilty to charges of stage managing his abduction, false publications and conspiracy to defeat justice, contrary to Section 117C of the Penal Code. A frail-looking and sickly Koimburi appeared before Principal Magistrate Ben Makehubi on Wednesday after an order was issued requiring him to appear in court. During the proceedings, State Prosecutor Victor Witi requested the court to issue an order for the accused person to avail himself of fingerprint taking on July 24th. Koimburi is accused alongside Peter Kiratu and Kanyenyaini MCA Grace Nduta Wairimu, who are said to have participated in the self-abduction.
Where would the fingerprints taken? So we can agree at 9 tentatively. So with that undertaking that the first accused person will present himself for the processing, I'll adopt similar or proportionate bond terms and bail terms as that of the other accused persons. So the first accused person may be released on a cash bail of 300,000 and then conditional upon him presenting or availing 3 contact persons. So he'll, on top of the 300,000, avail 3 contact persons. Already you have a date for mention on the 5th of August.
The opposition, the Democracy for Citizens Party DCP, has rejected the calls for a national dialogue between the ruling class and Gen Zs, saying it is doomed to fail as the Kenya Kwanza regime remains unpopular. The opposition slammed President William Ruto and ODM leader Raila Odinga for calling for dialogue, despite not fulfilling promises made to Kenyans and the execution of justice to extrajudicial killings victims.
Mimi nimesikia ati William Ruto na Raila Odinga wanasema ati wanataka tukue na conversation, ati national conversation. Nyinyi mnataka kuongea na Ruto? Nyinyi mnataka kuongea na Raila? Sisi kama chama cha DCP tumesema ile condition ya mazungumzo ni ya kwamba wewe William Ruto ukitaka kuongelesha wa Kenya, wewe na Raila, sisi kama opposition, wale watu tutatuma kwa hiyo meza, mtu wa kwanza ni Rex Masai, yule ambaye uliua na bunduki pale. Mtu wa pili ni msichana Bridget Njoki, yule ambaye ulipiga risasi kama hako kwa nyumba yake. Wale Gen Z ambaye umeua, karibu 150 Gen Zs, endeni muongee nao kwanza, alafu mtuletee ripoti. Nyinyi mnaunga mkono hiyo? Sisi tunasema Raila na Ruto waongee kwanza na wale watu ambao walipiga risasi, wakaaga, kwa sababu hao ndio wanajua walikuwa wanataka kukomboa Kenya namna gani.
Anasema hatuna plan. Tunatangaza hapa Lemuru. Plani ya kwanza ni Gen Z kuchukua kura. Plani ya pili ni kutokelezea 2027. Plani ya tatu ni kufukuza wewe nyumbani. Ndio utuondokee, sababu tumejua plani yako kuua watoto. Plani yako kushika vijana. Plani yako shoot to kill. Plani yako shake legi, shoot legi, I don't know what. Yeye hana plan. Si mambo ndio hayo.
Wewe Kasongo, William Ruto, usifikiria ati kuna mtu unatisha na askari. Usifikiria ati kuna mtu unatisha kwa kutushika. Wewe utatushika, tutaachiliwa, tukishafika nje tunasema William Ruto must go. Kwa sababu kazi ya kukufukuza is a national patriotic duty.
A political firestorm is brewing around National Assembly Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah over remarks he made about Pastor Dorcas Rigathi. Murang'a Democracy for Citizens Party officials have demanded an apology and immediate legal action. Party officials condemned Ichung'wah's comments, calling them a personal attack on the spouse to the former deputy president. They accused Ichung'wah of launching a smear campaign against women in leadership.
Inasemekana tunaongea vibaya. Sisi tumesimama kidete bila woga na tunasema Kimani tumekupe 48 hours from today. Murang'a DCP party fraternity and the leaders you are seeing here, we have given you ultimatum of 48 hours. If you don't withdraw, kama utatoa hiyo matamshi, sisi tutakupeleka kotini.
Ani Ichung'wah, mahali popote ulipo, tunaomba uombe msamaha kwa Dorcas Rigathi. Tumekuwa tukiona wamama wakikamatwa bila makosa yoyote. Tunakemea hiyo jambo kama wamama. Tunasema haifai na wamama tuache kuwekwa uoga.
Kwa sababu Mama Dorcas ni mchungaji yule ambaye amepakwa mafuta, amechaguliwa katika dini, na pia tunajua vile huyo mama ametusaidia. Kama huyo mama ndiye alikuwa anaongoza ile kampeni ya boy child.
Wale wako serikalini wenye wanasikiza wanaume wakitusi wanawake ama wanawake wanatusi wanaume, ningeomba kwa heshima muigirie hiyo maneno, muache kunyamaza.
Well, at the same time, Pastor Dorcas Rigathi has publicly defended her husband while indirectly criticizing Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah following his controversial remarks about her. Her remarks come amid growing political tension between the opposition unit and the ruling United Democratic Alliance Party. Dorcas addressed recent criticism directed at her and her husband, the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, for appearing together frequently in public and political forums. Without naming Ichung'wah directly, she took aim at those questioning their partnership. She also dismissed claims that her presence alongside her husband in political functions was inappropriate, citing biblical values.
And as he supports me, I also support him, together with my children. There is nothing else. He's the head of our family. And I don't know what anybody has a problem, a husband moving with his wife. For Jehovah God says they shall become one flesh. And they will be with each other and they will be naked and they will not feel ashamed. So what is the problem with me and my husband? There is nothing wrong with my husband being with me and I being with my husband. That is the divine law. Amen. Amen. The other thing is that family values must be entrenched in our societies. Because if, for instance, you have a situation where, what are you suggesting? Yeah. We are there praying for marriages every day in the churches. And what are we praying for? We are praying for families to be together. Right now we have mental illnesses, mental health coming from broken families, separating families. And I think that is one of the areas that our country needs to address. as well as nations of the earth. And that is why sometimes when he gives me to speak, he's not giving me to speak because I don't know, I had I sit. How can you sit on a man like this? This is a man who is causing a whole nation not to sleep. A man where the president, the deputy, the members of parliament, they hardly say anything else. I also listen. I hear they are always talking Wamunyoro. Wamunyoro, everybody is talking Wamunyoro. Is that a man you think what they are saying? You are such liars. And I will not stop loving my husband. I will not stop supporting my husband. I will support him. The other thing is, I will not stop praying for him. I will be a pillar for him. I believe in his vision. I believe in his dreams. And I support that he talks the truth.
A Kisumu court has cleared activist Boniface Akach over violence incitement charges leveled against him following his arrest during the June 25th, 2024 demos held in Kisumu City. Akach's case was dismissed due to lack of sufficient evidence presented by the prosecution. The activist, who expressed his relief after the acquittal, condemned the government for using state agencies to silence dissenting voices. He vowed to continue with the fight against bad governance, saying he will sue the government over alleged mistreatment by police while in custody last year.
I was charged with the case of obstruction. The police were alleging that during the 23rd protest of July last year, I was using stones to block the road. I was inciting members of the public to throw stones at them, that I even eventually assaulted police officers. Fortunately, after their very trumped up charges and their very weak prosecution, they have not been able to prove to court that I did any of those crimes. I want to appreciate the Lady Justice Nyigei for ensuring that her court has not been used to victimize or to suppress the kind of dissent that we are trying to express. I am going to take action. I am going to make sure that I also get my justice, because I was not only abducted, I was held in Comunicado, I was illegally detained, I was tortured, and I was again maliciously prosecuted. So I'm going to consult my lawyers and see what kind of action that we can take to ensure that not only do I get my justice, but also a lot of young people who are facing the same predicament as I do. We have nothing to celebrate today. We are just having a solidarity march with all the other young people who are also facing malicious prosecutions in court, fighting battles that they don't understand. We stand in solidarity with Boniface Mwangi. We stand in solidarity with Generali. We stand in solidarity with Chebukati. We stand in solidarity with Garang.
All right, at that point, allow us to take a quick breather right here on EBN Prime Edition. We'll be back shortly with more news making headlines. Don't go too far. Civil society organizations from the coast region to address the country's long-standing socio-political challenges. Speaking during a joint press briefing in Mombasa, leaders from the National Civil Society Center, in collaboration with Women in Development and the Pwani Gender-Based Violence Network, emphasized that for the dialogue process to be meaningful, it must have a multi-sectoral societal approach. Suba Churchill, the director of the Kenya Civil Society Center, noted that the issues raised recently by Gen Z demonstrators are not new, but echo long-standing grievances voiced by the civil society formations for years.
Tumesema kwa taarifa yetu kwamba sababu ambayo imechangia pakubwa kwa kutotekeleza mapendekezo katika mazungumzo yaliyopita ni ukosefu wa ile tunaita msukumo wa kisiasa, political will. Na sababu ambayo hiyo imekuwa ikikosekana kila mara ni kwamba saa zingine tunatarajia serikali ambayo iko wakati huo kutekeleza ripoti ya mazungumzo, ili hali baadhi ya wale ambao wako serikalini kwa wakati huo ni wahusika wakuu ambao wametajwa. ama walikuwa katika ile serikali ambayo ilichangia katika utawala wa kiimla ambayo ilichangia hizo masuala ambayo tunaangazia katika ripoti.
Kitu cha kwanza wakati tunaanza kuzungumza habari ya dialogue ni vile tumeanza kuzungumza sasa. Unapata kuna opposition na kuna wale wana support dialogue. Hiyo ni ya kwanza. Wakati tuko na opposition na watu wako kwa opposition, tunapatia yule president ama huyo kiongozi atakuwa naingia nafasi ya kuto implement ile ripoti itakuwa, kwa sababu hata jali, kwa sababu anajua wakati hawezi kuimplement inamaanisha ya kwamba wale watu walikuwa wamekataa hiyo dialogue wanamsupport.
Ile changamoto ambayo tumeona kama watu wa mdahalo, moja ni kwamba tumekuwa na the political will, ile matukio ya wanasiasa. Unapata kwamba kama kuna mdahalo, wanasiasa huwa anaweka yale matakwa yako mbele kushinda ya wananchi. Na tungependa kwamba tukienda kwa hii mdahalo ambao rais na pamoja na kiongozi Raila walisema itakuwa, we want them to tell us that this dialogue hakutakuwa na their will to be in the forefront.
Na kama vijana tumesema mdahalo ni muhimu, lakini ni je, tutaparticipate vipi katika mdahalo? Kama kijana mwenzangu amesema, ni lazima tuwe na uwezo wa kujua ni vijana gani wamechaguliwa katika mdahalo huo. Tusisikie tu ni watu wametoka katika labda mfumo mmoja ama tu katika jengo moja. Hilo ni la kwanza. So wale vijana watakaochaguliwa ni vijana aina gani? La pili, mazungumzo ya mdahalo huo ni gani?
National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula has reaffirmed Parliament's legislative and budgetary support for independent institutions, including the newly appointed IEBC. Speaking in his office during a courtesy call by the National Cohesion and Integration Commission (NCIC) Chairperson Reverend Dr. Samuel Kobia, Speaker Wetangula emphasized the need to support independent institutions to enable them effectively discharge their mandate.
The two words.
Okay.
So as Parliament, we will support NCIC in every way possible in terms of budgetary allocation, in terms of strengthening the law if there's any need for such a thing to be done, to enable you discharge your responsibilities and play your part in keeping Kenya together, keeping Kenya peaceful, and keeping Kenya at peace with its people and itself.
This is the amendment bill on NCI amendment bill because it was enacted in 2008. Then it was reviewed in
pending from 2015
and then
since 2014 is in this house.
That's right. Yeah.
Unless there is any extraneous militating factor, I should have it done within this session before we close for December.
Yeah, that's really
I'll take it out.
Yeah,
yes.
That's what Peter said. What you said is what should happen. People should give support to IEBC. You know, rather than attack it even before
it even takes office.
Take office. So what you did was very good.
Harambee Stars head coach Benny McCarthy has offered a detailed insight into their withdrawal from the ongoing Sekafa 4 Nations tournament in Tanzania, citing poor training conditions, safety concerns, and a need to protect players ahead of the 2024 African Nations Championship (CHAN). The Football Kenya Federation announced the withdrawal on Monday, describing it as a strategic move to ensure optimal preparation for CHAN. The South African tactician also voiced concern over the team's daily routine being constantly disrupted.
Tanzania was just a misfortune. You know, I think we went there with good intentions, but unfortunately, for football reasons, football decisions, it wasn't according to our satisfactory. So yeah, the team and the technical team, we came together and we just said that, you know, we think very highly of ourselves. We want to have the best preparation for CHAN. We want to be ready for CHAN, and if we were to continue in the tournament, I think it would have set us back majorly. Probably losing players to injuries because the conditions was just not favorable for us to work in an environment where we'll be able to keep all our players fit and to play at the highest and the best level that we expect from ourselves. So because of those reasons, we felt that it was probably best for the safety reasons for the players and the well-being of the players. For everyone involved in the squad that was there, that it was best just not to participate and to come back and to have the best possible training last bit of camp left that will give us optimize our chances, because the group that we're in, it's a group of death.
Group of death, indeed. So the first match Kenya plays will be on 3rd of August at the Kasarani Stadium against DR Congo. So please, that one you should not miss. I mean, we are hosting the game, so why should you miss? So hopefully Kenyans can turn up and support Stars in that particular quest at the CHAN Championships. All right, we wrap it up at that point tonight. Thank you for watching. I hope you're duly informed on the latest making headlines across the country. You've been in safe pair of hands tonight with Laura Omondi on the sign language interpretation and myself, Cynthia Nanjala. Good night.